If you're just sitting down to write your first children's story, you might be wondering how successful authors keep kids interested enough to read to the end of their book. Much of it is to do with pacing. Hi, I'm Jules, bringing you another Friday video on creative writing and indie publishing. Sub and ding if that's your thing. My books have been on people's bookshelves for nearly a decade now, which is kind of scary thinking that my initial customers are nearly adults now. In the description you'll find a link to my guide to publishing, and you can find me over on Patreon as well, where I post loads of things that are not posted anywhere else. And you can unsubscribe at any time, even if you only watch stuff for a month. The big question is, what is pace? What do we mean by it, and how can you use it effectively? Well, you have your characters and you have your plot, and you've allowed to let them meet and mingle. The pace is the speed at which the story unfolds. Basically, how quickly or slowly you are telling the narrative. You might have found yourself reading a really long paragraph that's a bit boring and skipped to the end. Or you might have read a page of text and thought, hang on a minute, what happened there? I don't quite get what was going on. The first one, where it was boring, is the pace is too slow. The second one, the pace is too fast, and it's giving you too much information too quickly. Sometimes the reader can get metaphorical whiplash or catatonia. We do not want that. And it's even more important for emerging readers, because they're going to be the adult readers of the future. Here is the science. When you increase the speed, you also increase the tension. Conversely, when you slow the speed, you slow the tension. Like so. Here are 10 things you need to know about pace. Look at your structure. Plot out the main events of your narrative in order. This helps to show where the fast and slow needs to happen, identifies any inconsistent places, and gives you a chance to rectify that before you get too far down the road. I usually use thumbnail sketches or post-it notes on the wall, but I know some people use an app called Scrivener. But whether it's digital or good old-fashioned pencil and paper, marking out where things happen is a good way to find out the places where things need to change, the speed needs to change. A lot of it is to do with word, sentence, paragraph and chapter length. Longer paragraphs with longer sentences and more complex words gives a feeling of slowing down because you need to take that information in. Think of it like traffic calming measures, where the speed bumps are, or the traffic pinch points. Conversely, short, snappy sentences with salient words are like the straight roads through a desert. No distractions, just getting you from A to B. It's not just the words that are on the page. Judicious use of punctuation can also be really useful for your pace. Using commas to break up a long sentence has a different feel to if you use a full stop. Like this. It was cold, bitterly cold. Jim shrugged his shoulders to his ears and dug his hands deeper into the old trench coat he'd just stolen from the thrift store. It was cold, bitterly cold. Jim shrugged his shoulders to his ears. He dug his hands deeper into the old trench coat that he'd just stolen from the thrift store. They are almost the same sentence with different punctuation, and it makes a real difference. It's useful both in written word and also for somebody who's reading the book aloud to a child, because it gives them a little bit of stage direction. By the way, the first one uses an Oxford comma after the word ears. If you want to slow the pace, Using senses is a great way to do that. Zoom in on one moment and let's explore what the person is hearing or smelling or feeling. Here's an example. This extract is from The Golden Stone, one of my books, and in it our central character, Alfie, has got up in the middle of the night because he's a bit peckish and needs something to eat. He's standing looking in the fridge. He pushed some of the other items away so that he could remove the cheddar cheese without too much difficulty. But then something caught his eye. It was a colour that he didn't associate with the fridge. Something gold was shining right at the back. Odd, he muttered. He took the broccoli out and laid it on the kitchen table and then did the same with a bag of carrots and the cucumber. At the very back of the fridge was a strange golden oval shape, about the size of a chocolate Easter egg. Alfie reached out his fingers to touch it. It was cold like a copper pipe in winter and just as solid. He tried to roll it towards him, but it wouldn't budge. Wonder what on earth this is, he asked himself. It's the golden stone, said a voice from behind him. Developing your character slows down the pace. It's also, of course, necessary, and put in the right place acts as a wonderful pull into your narrative. For example, you could have your character thinking something, or perhaps they're talking to themselves. Developing your character is very much in the show don't tell realm of creative writing, and this has an effect on the pace. For example, telling would be Barry hates egg sandwiches. Showing would be Barry sniffed the package suspiciously. He wasn't sure if it was safe. His thumb flicked up the edge of the sandwich box and he peeled back the plastic. The stench was overwhelming and he recoiled in horror. It was, he deduced, an egg sandwich. The first one was fast paced and just really tells us the fact. The second one was much slower and gives us a bit more information about our character Barry. Ask yourself, is there anything superfluous that we don't need? Anything that's not serving a purpose? Is there anything that I can cut out? Sometimes we have a character or a part of the plot that we absolutely love, but it's keeping the pace from flowing. Sometimes you just have to be brutal and chop them out, but don't worry, you can save them. You can save that wonderful character or that exciting bit of plot, maybe reuse it in another book. You just have to cut out the dead wood for the sake of your story and to prevent it from taking us all down. No, use as many gears as you need. If you've just had a chase scene that was really hair-raising and fast-paced, you might need to calm things down a bit so your reader can get their breath back. In the same way, if you've had a paragraph of introspective musings, a door slamming, making your character jump is a good way to speed things up a bit. Use longer sentences. Add descriptions to illustrate your point. Add some sensory information. What did it smell like? What could you see? Was there a noise? Did your character have that creeping feeling that someone was watching them? And you can also use backstories or flashbacks here. You can shorten your sentences. Take out what's not necessary. Use some rapid dialogue, maybe a conversation between two people that is almost monosyllabic. It's like a tennis match between the two of them. If you've got any subplots, then remove them from this part to make the pace faster. You could also increase the action. Maybe like a fight scene or a chase scene or something scary happening. And don't forget to use energetic, active vocabulary. And don't forget to use energetic, active vocab. And don't forget to use energetic, active vocabulary. That will definitely ratchet up the pace. There's no magic formula for this. You can switch pace just about anywhere. At the end of a chapter, in the middle of a paragraph, maybe mid-sentence. You just need to think about what you want your words to do and achieve. Sort of analyse it. Do you want a dramatic entrance? Make the part directly before very sedentary and calm. Have you written a really scary scene and need to give your reader a breather? You could switch to a different scene at a different time. Pacing is all about unveiling. Imagine yourself peeling off those layers. Once the character and the plot have appeared in your head or on your paper, the very next thing you need to do is become friends with pace. If you'd like further artist tutorials, I have a variety of short courses that will help you. There are real-time sessions looking at painting, drawing and marker pens, among others. And if you're keen on producing your own book, there is a more in-depth course on what you need to know about self-publishing a book with illustrations. And that covers making key decisions, how to make layouts and dummy books, rhythm and pacing, as well as several tutorials on illustrating your book, and a look at the tech. You can either hop over to my website or join me on Patreon for more information. Go on, give it a go! I really hope that has given you a few pointers and will help you get your words on the page. Much of creative writing is about experience, and it seems like the more you do it, the more comfortable you become at doing it. It's kind of like driving a car. You get better at it the more you do it. You don't get in your car and think, "Crikey, Penfold, I'm driving a car!" For the next couple of weeks, I'll be doing some Draw With Me, starting with cats. They say that you're either a cat person or a dog person, but I've had both, so where does that leave me? I'm off to ponder the mysteries of the universe. I will see you next time. Nanu nanu.